The Chicago Blackhawks are back in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The defending champs get ready to take on the Winnipeg Jets in round one, a team I have not had that much success against in NHL 20. Now, of course, last episode highlighted by the fact that we kept Alex DeBrincat, of course, moved on from Alex Nylander and Seth Jones, but brought in a defenseman for the future in Brant Clark. It was a bit of a rough start between him and Boqvist, but it worked out well. Our defense, for the most part, is full strength. Kyle Capobianco is stepping in on that third pairing with Casey Fitzgerald. Aside from that, the roster is good to go. Of course, we're going to give Philip Kurashev a shot on the third line. If he doesn't make it, it's going to be Eriksson, Ecker, Virtanen stepping in, and we will ultimately see how they do. Of course, we also picked up Olaf Lindbaum. If Mackenzie Blackwood struggles, we go straight to Lindbaum, and we do what we have to do. Now, there has, of course, been the discussion in the comments, more so recently, of, hey, actually, I don't like the rule of you winning the cup. And, of course, again, at the beginning of this series, there was no rule about anything. I didn't plan on adding rules, but I adjust the series based on what I see in the comments. It's just kind of how it goes. And initially, for a while, it was, hey, you should get a trade veto if you win. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll do trade vetoes. Hey, if you win, you get to keep the team for the year. Oh, okay, cool. And now it's, hey, well, actually, never mind. We don't like that. So, you know what? We'll see what happens. The odds that we win back-to-back cups, incredibly slim. If we do, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. If we don't, we'll see what happens. But again, just a friendly reminder, this isn't or hasn't been me being like, hey, it's Milbury mode where this happens, and then just be like, LOL, debated, gotcha, it's actually this series. Like, no, initially, any rule changes, you might hear the dog wrestling around, messing up the blankets, because dogs can't just lay down. Pretty much with every series, it's, hey, what should the rules be? You even look at the Kings series, which, again, those rules are based off a series we did last year with the Hurricanes. Those rules were based off of feedback from you guys in the comments about, like, hey, what's a way to make franchise mode realistic and more difficult rather than just building a super team every time? So, again, if you don't like the rules, well, you could have spoken up earlier when we were having that discussion. I'm not saying you in particular, but not everybody who's like, actually, I don't like that idea, said that when we were initially discussing the rules in the first place. So, hey, that's what the comments are there for. I read every single one. I might not get back to you. I might not, in every video, put comments up on the screen like I do from time to time, but that's what the comments are there for. I read them. I see you. I hear you. We'll see what happens in this episode, though. Winnipeg, what are we looking at? We were the best team in the NHL. President's Trophy, will it mean fuck all by the end of this? Let's find out. This is the team. What are you, Edmonton? Top line of Kyle Connor, Elias Standard, and Christian Vesalainen. Second line of Marco Rossi, Matthew Beniers, and Nikolai Ehlers. Alex Kerfoot is with Pavel Zacha and Brendan Leipzig. Fourth line of Sven Berchke, Glenn Gaudin, and Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall's on the fourth line. It's a good team. I mean, even if you had Hall and Kerfoot probably where they should be, with someone else down in the, on the third line, you'd be fine. It's not as if they're against playing centers on the wing. They do so with Marco Rossi. So, I mean, why Hall's not there, I don't know. But regardless, their defense is also pretty solid. Josh Morrissey, Neil Pionk, Marcus Nudivara next to Esa Lindell, Vinny Heinola, and Sean Walker. The goaltender is not Connor Hellebuck, thank God. Jeremy Swayman and Adam Werner. Fair enough. Do they have injuries? They do. Their starter, Igor Shesterkin, is out. JVR is a healthy scratch next to Scott Laughton and Jesper Foss. So, I don't know what the hell this team's doing. I presume they'll change it up, but JVR is a healthy scratch, and they are without their starting goaltender. It is one of the most bizarre setups for a team I've ever seen. Taylor Hall's on the fourth line. What the hell's going on with that circus? Needless to say, we should beat them. Shesterkin's out for the rest of the year. So, backup goaltender. We have this amazing offense at our disposal, nearly a 60-win season. I mean, this should be relatively painless. They have a better defense, just barely. But this should be a relatively painless victory here. Which means, this might not go too well for us. That's typically what it means. I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's get down to business. Let's do this. Game 1 here on home ice against the Jets. Can we walk away with the victory that we should most certainly be getting? First period, not a good start for either goaltender. Ned Eakin gets the opening goal. Leipzig ties it. DeBrincat gives us the lead again, only for Sven Berchke to score less than a minute later. So we give up the lead twice. 11 shots to 6. Mackenzie Blackwood, this is not the performance that you needed, my friend. Second period, it gets worse. Eller's on the power play. Kane ties it up. Taylor Hall scores 4-3 Winnipeg. As we head into the third period, I mean, our offense is doing its job at the 3 goals, but right now our goaltending is not doing great, to put it nicely. Ned Eakin with a power play goal to tie it. It's now 4 apiece, halfway through the third period. Kurashev scores, and Nudivara scores 30 seconds later. 20 seconds later, actually. Kerfoot, a late goal. Noshek with a short-handed goal. Eakin scores, and we win. Oh my God. What the hell just happened? 7-6 is your final score. In game 1, Ned Eakin has himself a day. Noshek, the shorty. What just happened? Good God. What a game for Ned Eakin. I mean, not a great game for that third line despite some points. I mean, the power play might have been a factor. That was bizarre. We survive an extreme scare that our offense somehow gets us out of. However, Olaf, you get a chance to steal the net here because Mackenzie Blackwood had an .828 save percentage. I am probably going to have to move Lindbaum back. I forgot to sim up to game 2. I don't know if it's going to make him the starter by default or not. But that was a ridiculous game. That's the only way to put it. Indeed, Lindbaum is the starter. Let's see what he can do. Game 2 here in Chicago. Again, we were on a magnificent run heading into the series. 9 out of our last 10 games we won. We do take the first game of the series, but can we take the second? First period, goal apiece. And still not as crazy. Power play goal for Kirby Dach. Taylor Hall gets another goal. I can't imagine he's still on the fourth line. We'll check before game 3. Second period, we have the lead. Alex DeBrincat. Which, I mean, if there was ever a time for Alex DeBrincat to score goals, now's the time after handing you that hefty contract extension. We go to the third, up by 1. A drastically different game here in terms of the defensive display. Power play chance goes to waste. Winnipeg have an abbreviated chance. That goes to waste as we hit the halfway point of the period, but not before Metropolit doubles up the lead. It's now 3-1. Wasted power play chance, but the clock is still ticking, and the Chicago Blackhawks have a 2-0 series lead. 31 saves for Olaf Lindbaum. Spectacular performance from him. Great game from Dylan Strome, assisting on 2 out of the 3 goals. And again, the Blackhawks walk away with a victory as Point, Dach, and Eakin. Not great 5-on-5, or I mean, in fairness, they were on the ice for Winnipeg's only goal of the game. It's okay, all things considered. So, outscore them 10-7 over the course of the first 2 games. Walk away with a victory in both games. Lindbaum, needless to say, will be getting the start in game 3. Yeah, as you compare those numbers there, one of these things is not like the other. Jesus. Let's take a look at the Winnipeg lineup again. I can't imagine JVR's out. Taylor Hall as well, still on the fourth line. But we shall see. So again, Yeah, they changed it. It's now Connor, Kerfoot, Hall, JVR, Standard, Ehlers, Berchke, Rossi, Beniers, I guess, and Leipzig, Zaka, Fast. Defense is Morrissey. Defense is the same. So now it's Lawton and Gaudin who's out, and that's because Christian Vesalainen is hurt. So that Winnipeg lineup, I mean, no real time to try and gain any sort of chemistry, at least in a real-life setting. How long is Vesalainen out for? Recently injured, still pending evaluation. So 2 key players for the Jets are gone. We're up 2-0 in this series, looking to make it a 3-0 lead as we head into the whiteout of Winnipeg. We shall see how this goes. First period, and it didn't register the button. I thought it was going to pause for a ton of goals. First period, and not a ton of goals, but enough to have me concerned. Standard on the power play, Zaka as well. They outshot us 13-3, and that was a nightmare start. Second period, Zaka scores again. Kirby Dach gets his first goal of this postseason, but we're still down 3-1 here. Only 11 shots from this 100-rated offense. It is fantastic to see that they decided to show up as Winnipeg wasted a power play, but it doesn't matter. Standard gets a second goal of the game. And yeah, this is an example of what happens when, for some reason, your team just decides to not show up because, damn, Leipzig makes it 5-1. Winnipeg dominates to take Game 3. That was an embarrassing performance. Pavel Zaka out-dueling the likes of DeBrincat, Kane, Doc, Eakin. Like, where the hell's our team? He scored on the only 2 shots that game that he took. Brutal. Brutal, and our top line was brutal too. DeBrincat, Strome, Kane, Pulock, Dillon. Our key players let us down. No doubt about it. Home team has yet to lose in this series. I mean, 3-1's close, but the other 2 games certainly not close by any stretch. Dennis Gilbert is back. We'll look to get him into the lineup here on that third pairing. The Rockford Ice Hogs, by the way, are in the postseason and currently down. Are they currently down? Yeah, they are currently down 1-0 to the Texas Stars in the first round. So, of course, good to see them back in the playoffs. Defensively, Capobianco hasn't been bad, but we're going to reunite Gilbert and Fitzgerald. Of course, they've done extremely well for us. The menu lag right now is out of control. Mackenzie Blackwood's going to get a chance here in Game 4 to regain a starting spot, but if he screws up, then yeah, it's going to be a problem. Game 4. See what we can do. Really do need a win here to put the pressure on. Otherwise, we wasted a very strong start to this series. First period, early goal for us. Braden Point, and I say early, at least in the grand scheme of things, it came with 2 minutes and 1 second remaining. But we are up 1-0. 13 shots. We outdid the pace that we had from the last game in the first period, whereas opposed to what was it, 11 shots through 2 periods in the last game. So a much better start is the point. The Braden second period. Okay, Standard ties it. This guy cannot stop scoring goals. However, Brandon Dillon gets the goal on Werner, by the way. So a huge moment there. Swayman's out. Dillon with 37 seconds left gives us lead, tied in shots. The voice gives out. Philip Kurashev, 14 seconds in, scores his second goal of the postseason. Power play chance goes to waste. Another power play opportunity. Again, it goes to waste. Fantastic. Standard scores again. 7 minutes left. Power play, and we waste another one. That's fantastic. 2. Braden Point ends it, thank goodness. 4-2 is your final score. The Chicago Blackhawks are up 3-1 in this series. Some concerns over our power play certainly exist, but Ned Eakin has himself a day. Okay, no second out whistle somehow. The only minus players, but ultimately a much better performance from us there, and we'll have to see if Swayman is out or if ultimately that was just kind of one of those one-game deals which you so often see for no particular reason. Vesalainen is out for the rest of this series. Swayman should be back for Game 5, a game in which we will hopefully seal the deal and walk away with the win. So who's been the better goalie thus far? It's been Lindbaum. Blackwood was our guy last year. Olaf Lindbaum's going to get the opportunity to close this game out. We're going to go look at our power play. And indeed, that's right, I forgot to fix it. Now, you would have thought that our power play was good enough to do what it had to do. The answer to that, though, is no. Apparently, it's not. So, Kurashev, I hate to say it, but Eakin and Kane, of course, need to play. Patrick Kane's not even on the damn power play. I put Kurashev there. What the hell, game? So we will have Metropolitan Taves here, which means we have Strome, Doc, and Point. Strome, Doc, and Point. DeBrincat wasn't even on the power play? Is this game on... like, what? Like, damn, I know I didn't set it up on my own, but Jesus. Like, that is just outright sabotage. So Doc, Strome, Point, Kane, Eakin. Who the hell am I missing? Who the hell am I missing? Eakin, Kane, Metropolitan was there. Doc, Strome, Braden Point, DeBrincat. I was missing Point, wasn't I? No, Point's there. Who the hell am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I actually have all the top 6 now. Okay, so we need to decide if I want Kurashev here or Dylan. I'd rather have Dylan for the sake of the future. So never mind, we're good. So quickly, how are we going to set this up? All righties on the right, please. All righties on the right, if you would. Is that all of you? It is. Good. So what we're going to do, I think we're going to go... Let's go with Clark on the top unit. So Point will be down. DeBrincat will be there. That way it's Doc and Point, which is a hell of a setup. Obviously that means Dylan will be down here. Strome will take the face-offs. Eakin there. And that is one hell of a power play setup that certainly should not be failing. What is this game's obsession with Kurashev? I do not understand. I simply don't. Let's get Patrick Kane in there. It doesn't make any sense. So we have Kane, Eakin, Strome, Doc, Point. Kane, Eakin, Strome, Doc, Point. We need to DeBrincat again. That is just bizarre. But there we go. The lines are changed. We should be fine, and that power play should be a hell of a lot more successful. Except we need to change that around for whatever reason. The PK should still be fine. That's a little bit better. Let's see what happens here in Game 5. The power play back on point. It should have been good enough to begin with, but let's see what happens. Game 5, can we close out this series? That is the hope. First period, much better start. Power play goal immediately from Alex DeBrincat. Braden Point gets one as well. 10 shots to 7, 2-0 on the board. Second period, oh, it's over. Metropolitan and Eakin, all the big names have come to play. Winnipeg, you put up a good fight, but at the end of the day, injuries be damned, you just weren't good enough. We're moving on. Whether or not that still earns a veto or not, I don't know. I don't even care. Because damn it, we may well be on our way to winning another Stanley Cup, our second cup of the run. 4-0 victory in Game 5. That seals the deal. A 21-save shutout for Olaf Lindbaum. And the Blackhawks move on. 1 series down, 3 to go. En route to defending our crown as Stanley Cup champions. Patrick Kane, a pretty slow series, but again, wasn't on the power play, so I kind of forgive it. Dylan Strome as well. Not great. DeBrincat was fine, but the other two really needed to step up. Eakin was fantastic. Doc was great. Point was great. Third line, happy with Metropolitan. Takes more penalties than I prefer, though. Taves was fine. Kurashev was okay. And then the fourth line, at least wasn't a detriment. Defensively, Dylan and Pulock still looking good. Boqvist still looking good next to Clark. Gilbert and Fitzgerald, at least okay. And then goalie-wise, I mean, yeah, right now, Olaf Lindbaum, that shutout helped him a lot. I think he'll be our starter heading into the rest of the series. So things are looking very good for the Blackhawks at this point in time. And I do believe it is the Minnesota Wild that await us in round 2. As we're waiting to see who's going to be between LA and Vegas that moves on. Round number 2, next episode, indeed. We take on the 48-win Minnesota Wild. A good start to the campaign in an attempt to repeat. But ultimately, we still have a long way to go. With that, we are done for today. I thank you very much for joining me, as always. If you haven't already, help me out a bit. Drop a like. Subscribe, definitely, if you haven't, although the majority of my viewers are people who are subscribed, so that's nice. But if you're part of like the 30% that isn't, what the hell's the matter with you? Chop, chop, let's go. I'd appreciate it. Yeah. Check out everything in the description as well if you have not already done so. That, of course, includes the Twitch, the Discord, the Twitter, the Instagram, the Patreon, where we have an exclusive franchise mode series where you guys help me make decisions on what to do. There's a link to the merch store down there, which I'm working on getting some new stuff done, which is cool. But if you want to be a proud member of the Bunch of Nerds, yeah, that stuff is still up there as well. And of course, a shout out to those tier 3 patrons on Patreon. I love you all. I do. There was an episode yesterday. There should be another one up for Thursday, I hope. I love you all. I'll see you next time. Until then, have a good one. Take it easy. Stay safe. Goodbye.